Simone Biles wins more than a medal, and NBC's Olympic streaming stumbles. I'm Jeff Beer, and this is Fast Company's brand hit and miss of the week. The hit this week goes to Simone Biles. Leading up to the Olympics, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more visible, popular athlete than the American gymnast. For many, she wasn't only the face of brands like Athleta and Visa, but also of the entire Team USA heading to Tokyo. This week, however, Biles pulled out of both the women's team's finals and the individual all-around final, citing mental health issues. Of course, after that, cue the parade of mostly white, mostly male critics who probably can't even do a somersault, questioning Biles' decision, commitment, and determination. Piers Morgan is one prime example, whose mental fortitude you'll remember was perfectly illustrated when he stormed off a TV set and quit in a tantrum after his criticism of Meghan Markle was politely challenged by a colleague. For Biles, with all the competitive pressure of being the favorite in her events and the greatest of all time gymnast, plus the commercial pressure of attracting audiences for broadcasters and brands, it would take a monumental amount of strength and character to make that call. And yet, she did it. There's a broader conversation here around the culture of both pro and amateur sports, how we treat them as an audience, and how athletes navigate the weight of expectation. As a brand issue, it not only reflects our new reality, but also presents some new opportunities. Traditionally, the value of any athlete to a marketer was results. Winning meant an audience. Hold the product and smile. Today in the social media age, an athlete's performance is of course still a vital aspect of their public appeal. But athletes have also become three-dimensional human beings with hobbies, passions, and yes, social and political views beyond their profession. Increasingly, these other aspects have become just as important in an athlete's popularity and place in culture. The discussion around mental health and pro athletes has been gaining steam over the last few years. NBA stars DeMar DeRozan and Kevin Love have been actively speaking out, and of course, there was Naomi Osaka's withdrawal from both the French Open and Wimbledon this year to focus on her own mental health. Training and recovery tech brand Hyperice has been working with Osaka since 2019, and CEO Jim Huther told me that they got a bigger response from her speaking out on mental health than they did when she won the US Open. For Biles and her sponsors, this is an opportunity to connect with fans in a different way on an incredibly important issue that will resonate far beyond any podium in Tokyo. This week's miss goes to NBC. NBC Universal paid about $12 billion for the rights to televise 10 Olympic Games in the United States through 2032. And for these Tokyo Games, we'll show about 7,000 hours of Olympic coverage across 2 broadcast networks, 6 cable channels, and several online and streaming platforms in 2 different languages. In a perfect world, a situation like this puts the control of what events to watch and where in the hands of the viewer, while also serving up a marquee marketing opportunity for its year-old streaming service, Peacock. So far, though, the reviews of how NBC has handled Tokyo have not been great. The LA Times recently compiled a laundry list that essentially boils down to utter confusion around what events are playing where and the sheer difficulty of navigating all that choice. Add to that, there's been general online streaming quality complaints, which are no surprise to any soccer fans who watch the Premier League on NBC streams, that have really weighed it all down. Slate actually had an entire article called, "Why is it so hard to use NBC's Peacock to watch the Olympics?" Much like being a host city, being an Olympic broadcaster, it's impossible to please everybody. There are just too many events to balance, along with a time difference, unexpected upsets and results, and much more that are way out of anyone's control. So far, at least, NBC has yet to find that balance. That's it for this week. Thanks for watching. To see more weekly videos about the best and worst in brands and marketing, hit the like and subscribe button.